Do you edit that at all?
Yeah, man.
Oh, okay. You know how to edit?
Yeah. Slick Rick Randle in the house.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey, what's up, man? Give me a...
There you go. Ian.
Hey, man.
6 feet.
So, welcome to another edition of Chappell Chats. I'm Johnny Chappell. We're in the backyard where we're doing these interviews during this time of COVID-19, trying to respect social distancing, trying to be as safe as possible while we're still allowed to be out and about and within 6 feet or so of other people. Today, we're talking to Rickey Randle. And so Rickey works at Spectrum News. Ian, who's behind the camera, and myself all worked together at what used to be News 14 and then was Time Warner Cable News and is now Spectrum News for a while. So Ian, producer, I was the news anchor, Rickey, director. Rickey's still there, and I thought it'd be interesting to have Rickey on because he's a really interesting guy, number one, but also you can talk about what it's like to be in the news business, covering something that's unlike anything we've ever seen. So thank you for coming on.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's fun to be out here with Mr. Chappell and Mr. Ian.
Yeah. Before we get started, wanted to get a couple of housekeeping notes out of the way. We try to do whatever we can to pay homage to local stuff while we're doing these. So today, Cloud Surfer is what we're enjoying. Virtual cheers, or air cheers. Delicious IPA from our friends at Trophy Brewing. Thank you, Ian, for bringing those by. Enjoy Cloud Surfer and shop locally for that. And also Happy and Hail. So Happy and Hail is a Triangle area restaurant. We all know what a tough time the restaurant industry is going through right now. What they're doing at Happy and Hail, which we thought was super cool, and I'm ripping their bag up, so I apologize for that. But they are doing these things they're known for their bowls, right? If you go to Happy and Hail, you get a bowl. It's really healthy, it's good food, you feel good about it. They're doing what they call kindness bowls right now. So if you go to their website, which is happy and the word and hail, HALE.com, you can order one of these kindness bowls for $5, and they will then deliver it to a hospital worker, a first responder, someone who is having their professional lives really impacted by COVID-19 and all that we're going through right now. And again, we're trying to keep this as local as we can. So if you are a business owner, if you got some swag or some gear that you want us to wear or show off during the show, especially if you're impacted like most business owners are during this time, send us an email to hello@chappellres.com. That's hello@chappellres.com, or hit us up on any of our social channels. Let us know about it. I'll get in touch with you, and we'll see how to get that stuff and showcase it during the show, especially if it's good that's going back to other people in the community. So thank you, Happy and Hail, for doing that. We'll make sure to eat that good kindness bowl in just a few minutes. So Rickey, tell me about what it's like. How's your life different today than it was a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I'm always constantly thinking about this COVID-19.
Yeah.
How it's gonna impact me, if and when it's gonna impact me. It's you can't help but think about it all the time. It's always on the news somewhere. I think it might be a little over sensationalized, but I think it's a real thing.
I think the always is so key. I mean, if you think about it, a couple of weeks ago we had so many distractions, right? We have if you're into politics, there's a presidential election going on, a primary going on. If you're into sports, you got the NBA season's in full swing, ACC tournaments going on, the Masters is getting ready to start, baseball is getting ready to start. All of a sudden, all those things are taking a big back seat.
Everything was the primaries. Everything was Super Tuesday here, Super Tuesday 2 here,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, none of that matters. None of it matters. It's all COVID-19 all the time. It's a place that I've never been before. In my 52 years, I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen not just a city or state or country, but the world turned upside down over this. It's a phenomenon.
In a business that it seems like things always, we talk about the cycle and how quickly things move in the news cycle. It seems like this is like the news cycle on steroids, right? It's just like moving at a warp speed.
It is. Every day there's something different about it. Every day there's a new angle on it. But I can't say that it's all bad, because I've been working in news. I've been seeing the good come out of people as well, much like you got with that bowl.
Yeah.
There are some people doing really good things behind it, you know. And I think as Americans, it's really refreshing to see that in the world of politics, and we've seen a lot of fighting there, but this has a way of bringing people together. It really does. But keeping that distance, but you know,
virtually together as much as we can be, right?
Tomorrow it could be a whole different story. Tomorrow it could be you can't be outside.
You're in an industry and working where we used to work that is, again, a lot of it's digital and but it's a lot of people around as well, right? So you're sometimes in a room with, I don't know, a couple dozen people easily. Mm-hmm. How have interactions changed or protocols changed inside the news studio?
I've noticed that they're doing some scheduling changes. They're going to stack the schedule in a way where they'll have, in case somebody gets sick, in case somebody goes down, they won't be totally, handicapped. They'll have it scheduling where you'll have different crews on, and different crews off, but everybody will still get their hours. We wipe down all the surfaces that we touch. As a director, I'm always touching this filter, everything in the control room. But we wipe it down at the beginning of shift, at the end of shift, during the shift, in the middle of the shift. Of course, you're in a work environment with people you've worked with for years, so you make jokes about things. They're your friends, for the most part. They're almost like family for the most part. But watching it and working in it, it's like you take in so much information to the point where sometimes you have to pick and choose what you accept and what you believe. Because sometimes you might even hear contradicting, messages. But I try to pull out some of the good stuff that I see. There's great stories out there where, an elderly man was serenading his girlfriend that he met 25 years ago, but he couldn't go into the senior citizen home, so he did it from outside of her window.
I saw that.
Beautiful story.
Yeah.
I saw that too. So I try to focus on some of those because it can get overwhelming when you're doing this day in and day out. And as soon as you hit the chair, the first thing you do is COVID-19. The last thing you do is COVID-19 and everything in between. It permeated the whole news cycle.
Yeah. And you're right, it is. When you're working and you work a lot of early morning shifts, we both used to work an early morning shift where you're in the studio literally like at 3 or 4 o'clock on a Saturday morning when other people are just getting home.
Right.
And that group that you work with does kind of become like your family because you see the same director, producer, all those folks, the same meteorologist, the same news anchor, the same reporter. It's a tight-knit group. It changes, but it's tight. While it's tight there and it's kind of like a family, you don't know what they're doing when they leave, and you don't know who they're hanging out with or what practices. Does that make you think twice, or do you sometimes have to catch yourself before almost touching some? Just the interaction, being around close groups of people like that.
Well, we don't have a lot of physical interaction.
Yeah.
We really don't. We really don't have that. I try to keep as much space as I can, but some of those control rooms are tight. And there's really not much you can do about that. But wipe it down, that's really all you can do.
How have you seen anything change just from anytime we had it, when I was working in the news, when we had a big national event, presidential election, a hurricane, an ice storm, the hurricanes win the Stanley Cup, whatever it was, obviously it elevated everyone inside the space and there was a little bit of extra energy. How is COVID-19 a pandemic? Is that the same? Is it similar to a hurricane in terms of the feeling there, or is it just completely different because of the unknown of it and we don't know how long it's going to last and all those things?
I think that's the good point. It's completely different because in the hurricanes are so localized, and you see the damage immediately, and a lot of times it's definitely your neighbor, and it really does affect you more. This is an unknown. You hear stories about it affecting so and so, but what does it really mean? Until you get it, until you're affected by it on a real personal level, you don't have that heightened sense of alertness like you would with a hurricane. With a hurricane and a tornado, those are regional things.
Sure.
So when that happens, somebody in another region can help out and can give aid.
That's a good point. This is everybody.
This is everybody.
Everybody.
So all that supply that we send to the other places, we need that back. Send it back. Have you been in the store lately?
A little
it's
bit.
Crazy.
Carefully.
The shelves are just
wiped out.
just wiped out.
Yeah.
Like it's a brand new store. They just put the shelves up, but they haven't stocked it. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Well, and I think that's part of the problem is that no one has seen anything like it. You just said 52 years, never seen anything like this. Well, you're not, no one has seen anything like this. None of the journalists that are covering it have covered anything like this. The leaders who are leading have never led through anything like this.
Right.
It's just brand new to everybody.
It's unchartered territory. And part of that has me perplexed because it's the unknown. And I'm not a control freak.
Yeah.
But I like to be able to control, but this you can't. You don't know where it is. There was a concert last week. They found out somebody was infected.
Yeah.
He was in the front row, So, and that concert wasn't canceled,
How much do you think we're getting like real, unedited information about this stuff? Or do you think it's all filtered?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
It really is hard to say because when information comes down so fast and so quick, you really can't digest it all anyways. So it's hard to say what is real and what is not real. There are people that actually believe that this is a conspiracy.
Right. First, the ACC tournament saying no more fans, and then the next morning, no more games.
Which is a drastic measure to take.
Oh, huge
in itself.
Yeah, it's you talk about the ripple effect of how it impacts the restaurant industry and the hotels and then the TV and all that kind of stuff. But it happened so
fast.
It happened so fast.
And we don't know the full economic or psychological or sociological impact of this thing. It's just too soon to tell. We don't even know yet. Yeah. That's probably the scariest thing for me. My youngest daughter called me the other day because she was watching her 401k. And I told her to stop doing that.
Oh, yeah,
she watched it just dwindle. She's 25 years old, this one. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
don't look at that,
But on the flip side, I've got older family members, one of which called me last week and said, "I'm out. I just cashed out all of my investments because I'm on. That's my livelihood from here out."
And they watched it
and they saw 15% of it just go away really quickly. And so I get it from both perspectives, but it's just like the shelves in the store, the panic that people are seeing just because they have not been through this before and they're not sure how to deal with it.
I refuse to take that road of panic, but who's to say a month from now? A month from now, my whole attitude might change at the rate that this pandemic is changing, at the rate that this whole story is transforming. I may have a whole different outlook in a month.
What's your outlook when you go into work right now? Is it I'm excited about what the day's going to bring? Is it I'm scared as shit about what the day's going to bring? Is that what is your mindset going into such a rapidly evolving, always different unknown that this is right now?
I find myself on a quest for new information about what's going on. What happened while I was sleeping? Did something new transpire about it? New information come out? Are they any closer to a cure? I find myself thinking along those lines. I honestly don't think that I'm going to walk into someone with it. I govern myself accordingly. I'm not really social, so I don't go a whole lot of places. So I'm not really concerned with that so much. I mean, I have to do the gas station and the grocery store and all that. But I had an eye appointment today. They canceled it earlier in the week. And that's how fast things are changing. I called on Tuesday. They said, yeah, we're still on. Then they called me the day after that and said, well, have you been out of the country? Are you showing signs of any type of flu? No. Okay, you're still on. Then they called me the day after that and said, it's canceled. We can't do any routine.
We're doing the same thing because it's like, we're trying to still do business as usual as much as we can, but it's, how much is it going to be business as usual? So trying to do things as virtually as we can. So we put everything online and everything on the phone and high level tours and videos and things like that to get the information out, even if you don't feel like traveling to a house.
It's funny. Americans, they want to do their business as usual, so to speak. And it's funny, we're resilient. We'll find a way. I think industries are learning new ways to conduct their business, in the wake of this sort of thing. It could happen again. We've had these before, on different levels. And so this is the first time that I've actually seen business having to rethink of how they conduct business.
It feels like we were already heading into a slowdown in the economy or downturn. It feels like this just kind of escalated that.
Yeah.
It kind of added some juice to it, and it's taken it up a notch or two really, really quickly. So that's everybody, I think, whether you're a small business owner or you're going to work for a corporation every day, there's that unknown of it as well as how is my 401k going to do? Should I hire that new employee? I've only been here working a few months. Is my job safe? All those kind of things.
You know, I was going to do some landscaping this summer because I didn't want to do it. And I was going to call a guy out to take a look. And then all of this. And now part of me wants to continue to support somebody who's doing a job. But the other part is, can we do that? Can we even do it? You know, day by day, you have to reevaluate your life every day based on what today's orders are, you know.
What's your gut tell you? Do you think it's going to be how long is this it?
That's a good question. I think if we look at China or Korea, if we look at those places, I think it might have peaked there, but can we believe what's coming out of China? That's the unknown. Can we really believe that information? If in fact it is peaked there, my guess we probably look at 3 or 4 months. But I'm being optimistic.
But even 3 or 4 months with it like it is today is just a completely upside down world.
Right. Small businesses cannot sustain something like that. You know?
What have you thought about that? Because I mean, we take for granted where we get takeout or where we go out to the restaurant or if we go to a show or those people that purely rely on people coming to see them for some reason and no one's going to see anybody right now. Have you thought about, are you still getting takeout? Or what are things that we can all do?
That's a good question. I went to Locked and Loaded 2 days ago because I like Locked and Loaded. So I called in, of course, because you can't go in. So I called in, pulled up. The waitress was outside waiting for me.
Yeah.
And I had to follow her in. But I wanted to go. I wanted to go and support, you know, a restaurant. And I followed her in, paid for it. She walked me back out and said, okay, when it's ready, I'll bring it back out to you, but you can't stay in here. It smelled amazingly clean in that place. She gave me my food. I said, thank you, appreciate it. She said, no, I appreciate you. You know, and I think that's the sentiment. You know, these people want to be supported. And a lot of small businesses, they have loyal customers.
They do.
To them. They really do. And I think a loyal customer is going to want to support. They're gonna go out there and they're gonna make a trip, make that special trip, just because, you know, they may not even be hungry that day, but they're gonna go and make that trip because they want to support.
Or just get a gift card that you can use later, or I eat at Chopped a lot over at Cameron Village, and I go in there and they know me and I know them, and I was in there a couple days ago and they had shut down all the dining in area, so you can't eat there anymore. They're now moving to curbside pickup and anything they can do, and I talked to one of the employees there and I said, how is this time for you? And she's like, I cannot afford not to have a job for very long, and that's real that people are dealing with, and she didn't know from Monday to Friday how it was going to be any different.
That's very scary. I heard a story about a guy who is a landlord, and he rents to restaurant owners, things like that, and he's telling his tenants, don't pay your rent, figure out a way to keep your employees paid, we'll handle this later. I mean, kind gestures like that, because this is affecting everyone, you know. So it's good to see that. It's good to see the humanity come out. So so if anything good comes out of something like this, it is the humanity.
I think you're right. I think that's the I mean, it's the kindness bowl, right? It's like it's that gesture that is a simple gesture that on a day, any other day 3 months ago, we wouldn't have thought two things about. But now it's like, that's something I can afford to do, and it might help one person, and they might pass it on and help somebody else with it. And it's just those small acts of generosity or human kindness that I think we think a little bit more about, just like we think a little bit more about washing our hands. It's just become part of the new norm.
If you think a couple months ago, come on, we all saw the news before all this. People were at each other, fighting, bickering about their differences. Something like this shows us that we are not so different. You know, we're not. Something like this affects all of us, every one of us. And simple thing is washing your hands with hand sanitizer, and those little things let us know that, hey, we are all the same. We really are. You know, and we all want the same thing. We want to be healthy. We want our families healthy. We want to provide for our families. You know, we want to be able to enjoy our life, go here, go there. That's the American thing, right? That's what we want to do. And now that's been taken away from us, not by a system, so to speak, not by some type of tyrant, but because of this unknown virus, you know,
Exactly.
that can wipe somebody out.
We all feel like we've been robbed a little bit,
Right.
or something is gone that we have had and taken for granted for a little while. And
the thief is not some man in a house somewhere.
Nope.
The thief, that's not the thief.
Nope.
You know.
yeah, it's a thief, but it's not that one. Yeah,
not
it's
that one. Not the one you thought.
It's exactly. That's what's so weird, because it's also this ambiguous. It's hard to identify. It's hard to point finger and blame. And that's, you know,
Right.
if you're at a war with somebody, you can point.
Right.
We're at a war
You
with
see
them.
your enemy.
Or if there's a hurricane, we can say, but that hurricane came from over there,
Right.
or whatever. But it's just this. It's so new, and it's so ambiguous, and so hard to just wrap your arms around. I think that's part of it.
You can't see it. You can only hear about it.
Yeah.
You know, how weird is that? Something you can't see, you can only hear about it. You know, when you turn on the TV, you hear about it, but you don't see it.
I like the thing though, that if it's bringing it, there are good things. You always, you know, the news that doesn't get the ratings is usually the good news, right? They put all the bad news and the, you know, the blood and all this stuff. Yeah, the
Which we don't do anymore, by
Right.
the way. We don't cover shootings and things. We don't do any.
Really?
That they don't do that anymore.
that's
Good.
So I don't know any type of news like that.
like that. Yeah. Well, usually, if it bleeds, it leads.
That's
used to
not
be
the case
the deal.
anymore. Yeah,
and
that was the
and so,
saying.
if anything, I mean, COVID is A, B, and C right now in
Yeah.
terms of what's getting covered. But it is nice to see, just like the old guy standing outside of the nursing home and singing the serenade. It's good to see the stories like
Right.
that come
Yeah.
out of this, even if it's horrible that it took that to bring some of these
Right.
stories out.
Yeah, yeah. But I look for those.
Yeah.
I spend my time looking for those now. The good in people.
Because psychologically, I mean, even if away from work, psychologically, you kind of need that, right?
Mhm.
I mean, that's just like, it's like being outside on a nice day. You got to do a few things to keep yourself
Right.
up.
Right. If you ingest a bunch of the negative, bad, scary boogeyman stuff, it can take a toll on you. It really can.
Yeah. We need to keep the boogeyman away.
Yeah. Well,
Rickey.
by hand sanitizer, apparently.
Or both. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have ideas for the show, let us hear from you, and we will see you with another one really soon. Thanks.
Yay, and then
Star wipe and.
So thanks again for watching this episode of Chappell Chats. Please don't forget to hit us up if you have an idea, if you'd like to be a guest. What else? Comment, share, share, subscribe on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, MySpace. Are we on MySpace? This is going to take off.
Tom still wants to be your friend.
MySpace and Craigslist is going from there. Let's try that. All right, thanks.